So since I'm going to try playing with the milling attachment, I figured, all right, I'll give the one that came with it a shot first. So I have my workpiece installed in here. I think this part's mostly okay, I think. Well, for now. I don't know any better to think that this has a problem. However, this part, when I spun it, it looked like it was wobbling, just like in Mr. Pete's video where he was mentioning about using this. So I figured, all right, I will hook up my dial indicator, and I think that's visible, and it goes clear up to 0.15 of an inch. I think, is that inches or millimeters? Oh, that's 0.15 millimeters. All right, let's try, well, even so, 0.16 millimeters. And then if you go down, it goes back to 0. So a tenth of a millimeter, or that's actually more than a tenth. That's yeah, 0.15 millimeters or 0.6. That's not 0, and that's actually 0.18 that time. So yeah, so the original one does not run true. And let me get this thing out of the way. Assuming I can get this out of the way without causing problems. And we'll see what it looks like when it turns on. In person, you can see that this is wobbling and then that's wobbling. Not sure if that came across on the video. But in any case, that just is another indicator to me that the old way is not going to work, and I'm glad I got the new stuff. I still have to also get the cover for this. The ones I've seen on eBay are for the larger lathes. I may have to either try and make something or whatever, because you don't want to damage those threads. That would be bad. So if anybody knows for a 618 lathe which one of the things on eBay, the listings, are for those covers that you put on there, let me know. That might be good to have. But now I got to switch this out for the new stuff, since I know for sure that this is not round. Even though I do have stuff that will work, it's not round. And in case I haven't said it enough, I'm not in any way under the impression that this is a precise lathe. I know it isn't. It's a hobby grade, very old model, lots of use, but it's what I have, and it's cool. So let's see how close the new stuff is. Again, the other one went clear to 0.15 millimeters. So we're still in millimeters. So if we so it goes from 0 . The largest I'm seeing is 0.05 millimeters. 0.06. So from 0.15 to 0.06 millimeters. And I'm not 100% sure that this is not out too much, or I should say back in too far, and that we're not hitting some of the cutting grooves with the rotation. It's very possible that's bumping into some of those. In any case, that is way more precise than the original method. So we're going to try this. And while editing, I did realize it was going from positive 0.04 or 5 millimeters to negative 0.04 or so millimeters. And that's a larger range than I mentioned while I was reading the dial live action. So even so, if that goes to 0.08 millimeters versus 0.15 millimeters, that's still twice as precise as the old hardware. And again, I'm not sure if this was on the flutes for the cutting flutes or not, or getting into some of those or some of the bits for there. So I probably, if I really wanted to do this more precisely, I would get it out to make sure I was on just the round stock of the bit, but I didn't do that. It is the same bit in both tests, so I did at least keep that the same. So just with old hardware to new hardware, it's twice as precise. And 0.08 millimeters, yeah, I'm fine with that as a precision for what I'm doing so far on this. If I ever get to need more precision, that's why they sell new fancy stuff that's really expensive. But for now, this does what I need, and as we saw in the other video, it actually worked, and I was able to make a successful T-slot piece for my table saw, so that's cool.